Well, Wednesday night, time for History of the Hymns, right? You can be turning over to page 439 tonight. I hadn't practiced this one, so pray for me that I can lead it or sing it or whatever. But count your blessings. And a couple nights ago, I was actually, when I started looking at this song this week, I actually had trouble sleeping. You know, they say count sheep. I decided, well, we're going to do Count Your Blessings. I'm going to try that. And it worked. I fell asleep. But not sure what particular Bible passage this is based on, but I found something in Psalms 103, verse 1, which is a psalm of David. It says, "Bless the Lord, O my soul, and all that is within me. Bless his holy name. Bless the Lord, O my soul, and forget not all his benefits." And it says, "Who forgetteth all thine iniquities, who healeth all thy diseases, who redeemeth thy life from destruction, who crowneth thee with loving kindness and tender mercies, who satisfieth thy mouth with good things, so that thy youth is renewed like the eagles." And boy, that's a thought in itself. But I looked around and found a good history of this song on through several sources, and the first one was from enjoyingthejourney.org. And you see the name there on the left, Johnson Oatman Jr. He was a son of Johnson and Rachel Ann Oatman, and he was a New Jersey boy, born way back in 1856. And his father was an excellent singer and always loved to hear all the Johnsons sing the songs of the church, and he joined the Methodist Church at age 19. And a few years later, he was granted a license to preach the gospel, and for many years he would serve as a local preacher. Beyond his preaching ministry, Oatman worked in the business world, and with his father's passing, Oatman would take over the family insurance business, and he's remembered today not for his wealth, but for his mighty hymns that he composed. As one writer put it, quote, "While Mr. Oatman does not fill any particular pulpit, yet he daily preaches to a larger congregation than the pastor of any church in the land. Through the medium of sacred songs, he preaches the gospel to all the world and to every creature," end quote. It is estimated that Mr. Oatman wrote about 200 hymns a year throughout his ministry. In all, he penned a staggering 5,000 hymns of the faith. And in 1897, Mr. Oatman's most influential hymn, our hymn for tonight, "Count Your Blessings," was published in a hymnal, Songs for Young People. It became an immediate sensation, and for this hymn served a mighty reminder to think about all God has done. The impact of this hymn cannot be overstated. The music was written by Edwin Excell. You see the initials there on the right-hand side, E.O. Excell. He was a prominent American publisher, composer, song leader, and singer of music for church, Sunday school, and also evangelistic meetings during the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Interesting note, Mr. Excell was traveling in revival meetings with an evangelist known as Gypsy Smith. Are you familiar with that name, preacher? Gypsy Smith. I knew if anybody heard of Gypsy Smith. Anybody else heard in the house? Miss Robin? But anyway, he was traveling with Gypsy Smith in revival meetings, and Mr. Excell fell ill in Louisville, Kentucky at a meeting and traveled all the way back to Chicago and passed away there. And listen to this. He was in the hospital 30 weeks before he passed away. 30 weeks. Can you imagine? But I'm sure he had time to count his blessings. See, the Lord works in mysterious ways. And one day in 1902, that same evangelist, Gypsy Smith, was visiting an infirmary for children, and he relates his experience in his autobiography. And he says, and I'm quoting, "At the request of my host, I visited the infirmary. Most of the patients had been carried out onto the lawn for just some sitting out in the sun. I spoke a few words," he said to them, and then Mr. Penny said, "Before Mr. Smith goes, would you sing something for him?" "Yes, sir," said a little girl. "What will you sing?" he said. "Count Your Blessings," was the reply. And he says that immediately I was deeply touched and impressed. "Here was I in full enjoyment of health," Gypsy Smith said, "and of the many priceless benefits of God, yet I had never counted my blessings. It had never occurred to me to do so. I felt sure that thousands of others had been guilty of the same omission. And the author of this article says many of us are never so happy as when we're talking about our miseries. The sweet song fastened itself upon my heart and soul. I sang it at my meetings, Mr. Smith said, very frequently, wherever one must go in the streets, in the train, in the trams, someone was humming or whistling, "Count Your Blessings." And then Robert J. Morgan finally had a thought that I wanted to share with you tonight in this book called Then Sings My Soul, 150 of the World's Greatest Hymn Stories. Now, what I'm going to read you now is a quote from the great preacher of the past, Martin Luther. And I'm telling you, this spoke to me deeply, and I think it will you too, about this song. Martin Luther wrote in his book, Table Talk, "The greater God's gifts and works, the less they are regarded." Let me repeat that. The greater God's gifts and works, the less they are regarded. We want to exhibit a degree of thanksgiving in reverse proportion to the amount of blessings we've received. Listen to what he says. "A hungry man is more thankful for his morsel than a rich man for his heavy laden table. A lonely woman in a nursing home will appreciate a visit more than a popular woman with a party thrown in her honor. If the birds only burst into song once a year, we'd all pay close attention. But because they are singing every morning, we scarcely bother to even listen." And then the author said of this book, "Now's a good time to lay the book aside and deliberately thank God for something you've never before mentioned in thanksgiving. Count your blessings, name them one by one." So as we sing this tonight, think about all those things. Think about all those thoughts. And think about the old hymn writers as they gave us great jewels of songs to make our life better here on earth. And you've got your place there. Let's sing all four stanzas together. Count your blessings. When up on lifetime's billows you are tempest tossed, when you are discouraged thinking all is lost, count your many blessings, name them one by one, and it will surprise you what the Lord hath done. Count your blessings, name them one by one. Count your blessings, see what God hath done. Count your blessings, name them one by one. Count your many blessings, see what God hath done. You ever burdened with a load of care? Does the cross seem heavy you are called to bear? Count your many blessings, every doubt will fly, and you will be singing as the days go by. Count your blessings, name them one by one. Count your blessings, see what God hath done. Count your blessings, name them one by one. Count your many blessings, see what God hath done. When you look at others with their loads of gold, think that Christ has promised you with wealth untold. Count your many blessings, money cannot buy your reward in heaven or his home on high. Count your blessings, name them one by one. Count your blessings, see what God hath done. Count your blessings, name them one by one. Count your many blessings, see what God hath done. So I'm amid the conflict, whether great or small, do not be discouraged, God is over all. Count your many blessings, angels will attend, help and comfort give you to your journey's end. Count your blessings, name them one by one. Count your blessings, see what God hath done. Count your blessings, name them one by one. Count your many blessings, see what God hath done.